Hello everyone and welcome to another instalment of our nursing apprenticeship webinars. I'm here with UEA today. My name is Ree Edwards and I am the ICB's training hub or primary care workforce team, as we're now called, apprenticeship lead. So please do contact me if you need any information or support in recruiting or applying for apprenticeships and funding. I've got the UEA here with me today. So this session has been recorded to go on our YouTube channel. So I will hand over to Leonie, who will share all about the UEA. And the recording will stop before we have time for questions at the end, just to give individuals a chance to ask questions. Thank you, Leonie.
Thanks, Ree. Hi, I'm Leonie Cook. I'm the course director for the Nursing Degree Apprenticeship program at the UEA. And we are always about to answer any questions. As Ree said, we'll answer questions at the end of the program. And I'll hand over to my lovely colleague, Claire.
Oh, I've been promoted. Lovely. So I'm the admissions lead for nursing degree apprenticeships at UEA in the nursing degree apprenticeship. Sorry, I've repeated myself twice. And we're a small but cohesive team. So it feels very comfortable. Everyone communicates very closely. I'm also one of the module leads. So we've got 3 modules in the programme and Leonie will tell you a little bit more about that.
Lovely, thanks, Claire. So what I'm going to do now is I'll share my screen, just a little presentation. There we go. So we're just going to share that.
We can see it.
Right,
Lovely.
lovely. Thank you. Okay, so really on the top, UEA apprenticeships is a lovely route to registration. We all come from different areas and we all have different journeys. And this is where apprenticeship is so valuable to gain a degree in nursing or a route to nursing that you might not have thought that you are able to do. So welcome to today's introduction. So firstly, we have, just move on. So the UEA, isn't that brilliant? Beautiful campus. And it's just what it says there, isn't it? It's just the beginning of your lovely journey. It's a busy journey. It's a tough journey sometimes, but at the end, you're going to say, oh, wow, I've actually managed to do that. So as it says there, UEA is all about innovation, academic study, support, working together, facing challenges together, sorting out problems together. So we would welcome you to the UEA with open arms. So our working as an apprenticeship, it's really, really important to recognize that we all work in partnership with each other. No one is more important than the other. So we work in line with NMC standards and apprenticeship standards that guide what we teach you and how we teach you. So our partnership is with yourselves as potential apprentices, our employers, and us as university. And with that, we make all our decisions together. So if I want to change something within the program, I will then talk to my colleagues, you as apprentices and our partners, to come to agreement of the best way to move forward with anything that we might want to make changes to. So really, really important that we all are equal partnership. Entry requirements into the program. To become a nursing degree apprentice, you must have had your employer's support, and that's your route to application is through your employer. You must have a foundation degree in health studies at a level 4. We do aim for 55% average of your previous foundation degree of your studies. However, please don't despair if your grade is lower than that. Make contact with us and we'll discuss on an individual basis how to support you. Once we go through your initial needs assessment, which I'll talk about later, we look at mapping everything you've learned in the past towards the apprenticeship standard KSBs, which stands for knowledge, skills and behaviors. And then we approve prior learning, which is no more than 50% of your prior learning. So once we've looked at that foundation degree and mapped it across, we gets approved by the board, and then goes to external examiner, and you're then awarded 120 credits towards that foundation degree. So those are all part of the entry requirement. Our course structure is each module spans over an 8-month period. The first 4 weeks is at 37.5 hours per week, so it's full time for the first 4 weeks, and the lovely Claire does that module and really prepares you for the whole program. Study days are variable from 1 to 3 study days a week. Within that, you have independent learning study days. You have what we call blended learning. So blended learning means that you'll have some sections that are face-to-face, some that are done online, and then some time, what we call independent study, to collaborate that work that you've already done and to put it into action and to work on what you feel you need to work on towards your assignments. So everything from a theory point of view, university is considered off-the-job learning. So what off-the-job learning is an apprenticeship phrase, and that's literally any learning that takes place away from your work environment. The NMC require us as a total to complete 2,300 hours. So in fact, it's 4,600, but because you've done your foundation degree and awarded 120 credits, we need to complete 2,300 hours. So you'll have 1,150 hours purely for theory, and that includes your independent study days, and then 1,150 hours practice or placement hours. And within that, you've got some supernumerary time. And those are the hours required by the NMC to register as a registered nurse. As I said, your APAL gives you the other 2,300 hours. So our first module, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the next slide to talk about the modules. So I'll come back to that. But on top of all this, we have 4 progress reviews per year. Again, another apprenticeship requirement is that we review you and we support you 4 times a year, every 12 weeks about. And that support is to see how you're getting on. Do you need support with anything else? Are you able to make objectives towards your knowledge, skills, and behaviors in order to progress? So we want to see your progression through that time. So once you arrive on the program, you'll be given the planner of exactly what dates in line with your timetable of which dates you're going to be within the university and which days you're going to be in employment. So the one thing that we ask from the very beginning, that during placement periods that you do not take annual leave within those periods. So I'm going to move on to the next slide, which is going to, it's more visual to describe the modules. So you can see, so you've got Claire's module level, it's taught at level 5, and that is managing care, and that's called part 2B. So why is it called part 2B? So essentially on this program, you're coming in to the program midway through year 2. So if you think about your direct entry, you'd have year 1, year 2, year 3. So because we APAL'd the first part, you've got year 1 that has been APAL'd, half of year 2 that's been APAL'd, and you get onto Claire's module, which is part 2B. And that is about managing care, thinking about person-focused care and how we relate theory to practice, all those kind of things. Your assessment for that is you'll have a screencast or a podcast, and we will be building your confidence to enable that presentation. Initially, people are quite nervous about presenting, but we support you through the way through formative assessments to prepare you to do that and to prepare you for registration afterwards. So that's a 30 credit module, and aligned to that is nursing practice and simulation. So those are the skills. As apprentices, you come to us with a vast amount of skills already in place. We're just taking it that next level up to explore why you're doing the skills you're doing. So together with practice and simulation, you'll have a safe Medicate account, so you'll get to learn how to do drug calculations and be ready to give medication safely. We're going to also, during your placement periods, assess your practice. So we have either a pair or probably for the October 24's Pebble Pad that will have a practice MyPad added to that. And in that, your practice assessors and practice supervisors can assess your proficiencies that you've gained during that time. So that module then gives you 60 credits at the end of that. In year 3A, we now move from level 5 to level 6 study. And this one is leading change and innovation within complex nursing. And with that assessment, you're looking at doing a quality improvement project. So it's looking at, in practice, what have you noticed that you would like to explore to make better? You know, many of us say, oh, I wish they'd do that better. Now's the opportunity to go in there and say, oh, I can do something about it. But with that, you're going to learn to look at literature reviews, how we're looking at the evidence to support that change. So that's a 40 credit module, and the practice and simulation will again be your MyPad submission. So that's half of year 3, again an 8-month program, 8-month module. And part 3B, oh, I've made a typo there, it should be a B, sorry for that, is preparation for registration. And with this, you have 2 parts of it. So you'll notice the practice and simulation credits are much higher. It's 40 credits, because this is where we're preparing you to become that registered nurse. And part of that 40 credits is a reflective audio diary or video diary. Again, final safe Medicate and MyPad practice assessment. And then a 20 credit written reflection. And all our modules have got formatives in between, and a formative is preparing you for the summative. It's all about making sure that by the time you get to your final assignments, your summatives, you're really prepared and know what you need to be doing. Claire, did you want to add anything to what I've added with the modules? Are we happy?
No, I think you gave us a really vivid feel of how we're really valuing your experience. So as well as seeing lots of academics who give you academic information from their speciality knowledge, so they teach it on specific topics that they particularly love, but we're also valuing that knowledge that you already have. So when you're in a group of nursing degree apprentices, you're learning from the front, you're learning from each side, because you've all got different experiences to give. So yeah, and Leonie talked about practice assessment documents. We're really lucky. We've adopted the Midland, Yorkshire and East Practice Learning Group documents that are accepted across 28 universities. So it's something that's widely known, really, and it's hosted on 2 different platforms. PAIR, which is Practice Assessment Record and Evaluation, and soon PebblePad. So yeah, it's something that's going to make you really valuable to any organisation.
Fabulous, thank you. And especially with the new PebblePad platform, that's something that you can take your portfolio throughout your career. So it's something you can keep with you. What I've got is just our team over here in this slide, and myself as course director. So I've got the helicopter view, end up making decisions and doing a lot of admin work. And I teach on programs all across all modules. So I do get to know all our apprentices quite well, but I'd be that person that would support you with anything you need supporting with, really. With my help with those are our module organizers. So you've met Claire, but as you can see, and why I included this slide, is that we've all got other hats. So Claire's the module organizer for 2B, but Claire's also our admission lead. So we've all got roles to make your whole journey easier and more streamlined. So Emma Harris has been with the university many years. She's got module 3A, but she also does postgraduate end of life program module all on, so we've all got various things going on. Then we've got Tom Holmes, and he's going to be the module organizer for 3B, but he's also our lead advisor. So coming on to lead advisors, as an apprentice, each one of you, including all students with direct entry students within the university, has a personal advisor. And it's someone that's there to support you through the program, to give you advice. You'll have meetings, catch-up meetings. So it's all about that you've got a named person that you can gain support from. Then we've got Claire Snelling, who's a module organizer for nursing practice simulation, but she's also our practice education lead, and she's the person that will support you with anything that happens during placement. So she's got close contacts with our employers. And then Jade Martin, who's our progress review coordinator, who, as I mentioned earlier, will be doing the 4 progress reviews. Now, when we do the progress reviews, it's very much what we call a tripartite meeting. So it's yourself as an apprentice, it will be your practice assessor, so someone from your employment area, and the university with Jade. So you've got 3 people supporting you to make sure that you can progress, and that's your opportunity to highlight things that you might be struggling with, because we might need to be able to think about offering support going forward. So I will be talking about the support services a little bit later, but this is the team, and I don't think we'll be jumping out of any aeroplanes soon, but that little slide, you might, Claire, I won't, that kind of image is really that we really work closely together and we support each other all the way. So what you really want to know is this slide. So your timeline for applications. So applicants come to the UEA through the nursing degree apprenticeship through your employers. So you've got to apply through your employer, and each of your employment areas will have their own expression of interest forms. And that should be happening now-ish. So it was between Jan and February, but we need it done before we start interviews in March. So our interviews will be starting on the 18th of March. When you put in an expression of interest, really sell yourself. Your line manager's got to commit, and that's part of their statement, is that they're happy to support you through this process. So all the way along, we've got people like your employers, everyone's there to make sure the journey is as smooth as possible. So interviews between the 18th of March until the 12th of April. And then after that, you'll all be sent an initial needs assessment. And that's what I was talking about earlier, where we've got to map your previous learning. And that's aligned to the apprenticeship standard KSB's knowledge, skills and behavior. So you will be asked to give a score of how proficient you think you're at that score. So if you say you're 5 and you're absolutely excellent at something, we want to know why. And you'll soon learn entering a university. The next question is, show us the evidence. Why? Give us evidence of why you think you are as good as you are. We know you're brilliant, but if you feel that you're not that great at something, is there a reason why you feel that way? I think we don't often appreciate how good we are at things, and it's recognizing, being self-aware and recognizing yourself, how what you need to learn, but that's also about finding those gaps. Where can we support you? So that's really important. So once you've had the interviews, we after come together and put a score together and decide who goes through, and then it would be the employer that would let you know whether you've got onto the course or not. So at that point, when we'll know who's on the course, we'll be sending invites out for the APAL workshops, and that will be between the 12th of April to the 3rd of May. So very important is make sure that you've got all your paperwork, start getting your paperwork together. The UEA will send you a list of documents that's required. So things like your certificates, transcripts for your previous study, including care certificates. So anything that is relevant to joining the program needs to be at the university by the 24th of May. Included in this, and this is really, really important, is to have Occi Health clearance, an advanced DBS, and that includes Hep B vaccinations, so making sure that you've got a record of those. So if you think you haven't got any of those, you've got a bit of time to try and start getting all your documentation in a row, that you've got it all handy. And then the APAL submission, so once we've checked all your transcripts versus your learning, we will then submit that to the exam board on the 28th of June. That is also examined by the external examiner to make sure that's all in order, because as I said earlier, we're awarding 120 credits for that. So we have to make sure it's all in place. So the exam board will be early July, August 24. I see a hand up. That's Claire.
Yes, it's
Over
me.
to
It's
you.
always me asking questions. Donna's got a lovely question, and it's actually a question for Ree. The expression of interest form, where can she find it?
That will all be circulated in our newsletter next week. So those that are attending these sessions will get a copy emailed to them directly.
Thank you, Ree. That's great. Thanks, Claire, because I can't see the chat box. Fabulous. So why come to the UEA is the question. We've got a beautiful campus. I'm not sure which one's right or left on your screen, but the one with the trees, with the round building, is Queen's Building, and that's the hub on campus at UEA for the nursing school. And the one to the right is on the roundabout as you go to the Norfolk and Norwich University Hospital, and that is the Edith Cavell building. And it's in that building that we do all our skills. We've got, I'll show you later, really good equipment. And what they promoted to do now is to spend quite a lot of money to develop an anatomy lab. So that's going to be all coming soon. So why choose the UEA? I think with the UEA, support services is incredible. There's really nothing you can't get support with. All we want from you, though, is to let us know when you need support and to recognize when you're starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed. We recognize that many of our apprentices are people that have got children, have got mortgages, you've got work commitments. So, you know, compared to a direct entry, they can go and do all the nightlife. It's up to you whether you want to do the nightlife part of that. But the minute you start feeling I'm struggling with something, that's when you let your personal advisor or myself know that, help me, I need a little bit of help. So really, we've got crisis support, we've got well-being support to support with mental health. We've got support with people with disabilities, learning disabilities, physical disabilities. As I said, there's absolutely nothing that you can't get support with. We've got well-being workshops. We've got an embedded team that help with education, academic work. I think a lot of people starting on an apprenticeship program, that's their one feeling, that I really struggle with academic work. what's critical analysis. So people like that are there to help you, and there's drop-in sessions that you can get resources to help you with all that. So there's talking therapies. There are student union have loads of support groups or activities that people might be interested in. What do they have? They have dance, they have arts and crafts, they have just about every sport under the planet that you can think of. You've got the UEA Sports Park. So, you know, with your card, you can go and do whatever you're interested in all fairness. So, the residential side of things is probably not applicable to many apprentices. But then we've also got extenuating circumstances. So this is in those occasions where something, life happens and you can't submit your assignments on time. There's policies that we will go through with you on induction about how do you recognize you need something extenuating circumstance. You might need a bit more time to submit your assignments. So when Claire does her induction, she'll be showing you that in detail. So I won't go into that too much today. We have got amazing facilities. We've got a fantastic library, and we've got probably the best librarian ever, Matthew Hawkes, who he supports us with absolutely everything. And you will all meet him on induction and through the program where he helps with literature researching. He helps you find evidence if you need evidence, you know, so it's really just asking the questions. The resources are there. You can get ebooks that you can, instead of physical books, if that's what you wish. So I think with each person's learning, it's finding what works well for you. Some people like to do stuff online, where other people like to have a good old-fashioned textbook next to them. So with that, part of your course module, you'll have reading lists and suggested reading. My one tip going forward is the more you read, the better your assignments tend to be, because reading is where you get so much information. But then we've got also through the library, drop-in centres for academic support. So this is just an outset of what it might look like. So you could go into UK library guides and then you can join a session. So be it academic drop-in or literature search, or, you know, even things with people that struggle with dyslexia, for example, or many other learning needs that might be looked at. So if there's a specific learning need, we can then do, now I've got to remember what a RAP stands for, Claire. Reasonable adjustment plan, I got it. And it's looking at what you need as an individual to have support through your training. So as I said, the support services are absolutely phenomenal. What's also great is I've just spoken in the Big Square Edith Cavell building. This is our skills and simulation setup. So there's a drop-in skills room where you can go at any point to go and practice various skills. So it's set up all the time that you can pop in there and have a look through things. Then you'll see we've got like a award area where you can practice whatever you need to practice, whatever, be it managing a bay of people. We do research stuff in there. Many of your skills will be done in those two rooms. Then what we've also got is virtual simulation. So this is Tony Emery. He's one of our lecturers. And you'll notice on his chest is a little camera, and we call it immersive classrooms. And what they do is everyone's got a camera on and they can visualize. So half of the group will be watching in the lecture theatre, taking notes, and people, so you as apprentices, could have the cameras on to see how real life learning happens. But what they also do, I'll show you in the next slide, is we can have, for example, critical incident days where they can put the sounds and images of, the paramedics do one with a car accident, and they've got buses and sirens and you name it, all these additional sounds. And you've got to deal with your patient in the middle, so they can get actors in to support. So there's a lot of things that we, as we say, immersive classroom, that we support with. So we're quite proud of our skills and simulation. And it makes it just real. So if you've got a cardiac arrest and you hear all the sounds of bells going off and the noise that surrounds it, it makes that learning more real and close to life. Additionally, what we have to support us and to support you are our wonderful service users, and they're members of the public who have agreed to be service users, and they've got their own illnesses, conditions that they live with, long-term conditions. So we hear their part of it. They looking at supporting us with interviews. They help with teaching. They part of that tripartite. They part of our communication. So when we have open days, they join us. They look at things from a patient's point of view. So they're the patient's voice in order to support us with the development of our courses. And they're very useful, especially when you have like assessment. That what one lady said to me in quite a high presentation for 3A was, well, if I can understand it, I know that the apprentices are going to be explaining it to their patients in a way that they can understand it. So it's about bringing that patient's perspective in as well. As I mentioned in the first slide with the triangle, we work very closely with our partners, but our partners are also there to support us with placement provision. So we, through Norfolk, there's lots of places where you can go. So we've got the Norfolk and Norwich, Royal Papworth. If you're from Kings Lynn or something, you're not going to be asked to go to Royal Papworth, so please don't worry about that. We do look at, when we plan placements, we look at your location. We are hoping to move towards having 2 trusts that we work together. And, you know, with the likes of we look at where we can place you and support you. So it's about the areas you go is about your experience, so that you get the best experience out of the different placements. Many of you might work in GP practices, and it's looking together with Ree and myself is what learning can you expect to get from those areas and where you can go, because a lot of our placements are either it's your contrast placement versus your employment placement. So contrast is you're going out of your work area to acute area to get that experience of working in a hospital, be it A&E, anything like that, versus your employment area. So I spoke to Ree about that earlier, and I think I'll leave that to you to discuss a bit more, Ree, is about how you think about placements in different areas in your community areas. So can I leave that one with you, please, Ree, to expand a little bit more on placements within your areas?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine, Leonie. So we are looking more into contract placements, looking at where within your primary care network eventually based to be able to gain that primary care experience, but wider and beyond your normal working area, which would help you to support meet the needs of this programme in particular. If there are any questions or issues or concerns about placements within primary care, then on your first point of call, along with Leonie, Claire and the placements team at the UEA, so we can all work together and link in to support you and making sure that those placements are appropriate, and that you're excited to go on them, basically. That's
Yes.
what we're looking for. But thank you very much, Leonie and Claire. What I'll do now is I will stop the recording for those that are watching it online, and then open the floor up for questions here.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Fab. Thank you. I'll